So people in China say some things which here in New Zealand or maybe other English-speaking countries might be considered like a little bit kind of taboo or a little bit rude. There's obviously no ill intent behind the things that these people say, but it's just one of these kind of wonderful cultural differences that you get in different places. Funnily enough, people around the world say and do different things. My in-laws are on a plane from China heading here to New Zealand to visit us for a wee while, so I am likely to hear some of the following things quite soon. So let's go through 5 things that I heard pretty regularly in China, which I didn't really hear here in New Zealand. Now the first one is one that I may hear pretty much as soon as my in-laws get off the plane, and that is 你长胖了, which is you've gotten a bit fat. People are very direct about your weight. It can also work the other way around. If you've suddenly lost a bit of weight, people can say that you've lost weight and also be a little bit critical of you being too skinny. So if you're too skinny or too fat, or if you have a sudden weight change, people will certainly let you know. I don't personally mind the you've gotten fat one too much, because sometimes that's like a little bit of a wake-up call to myself. They're like, geez, I have been eating a bit of rubbish recently and I have put on a few kilos. But with all the culture around fat shaming and whatnot in the West, it's not something that you would hear very often. Unless it's maybe a really good friend who was looking out for your health, perhaps. But yes, you've gotten fat. Or, as I said, at the other end of the scale, you're looking a bit thin, you need to eat some more. Yeah. This is a relatively common and not so much taboo topic in China. Number 2 is about money. And I don't know how universal this is, because my wife tells me that among kind of colleagues within an office, it can be still a little bit taboo to talk about. But I know that every time I took a taxi in China, there were a few kind of regular conversations that came up. First one would be, where are you from? Second one would be, what do you do? And the third one would pretty much be, because I was working in China, how much do you earn? Like very directly, like you just met this person and they want to know straight up, how much do you earn? And they will comment about whether they think that is a good or bad salary very directly. Yeah, when I was working at a university in China, they don't pay that well. And people would tell me to my face, that's not a very good salary. You should be earning more than that. You know, foreigners coming to China should be earning more than that. So, yeah, people asking you very directly how much you earn was a very kind of common question that I heard, and especially from pretty much complete strangers. We're asking someone how much they earn is kind of seen as a little bit of a no-go question over here in New Zealand. Number 3 is a pretty basic one, and I think just speaks to the kind of culture that places a lot of importance on food in China, and that's 你吃了吗 or 你吃了没有, which is just, have you eaten? It is a pretty stock standard greeting. It's almost just like saying, how are you? Have you eaten? Chinese people like food. There's a reason countries all over the world have Chinese restaurants, because Chinese people like food. If you've seen any of my videos traveling around, if I asked people, like, have you been to this temple or have you been to this historic site, which direction is it? Often people would give me vague answers or no, they haven't been. But if you ask them, where can you get some good food? People will give you long and detailed answers about food-related topics. So, have you eaten is a stock standard greeting. In New Zealand, it's almost like talking about the weather. Nice weather we're having today, isn't it? In China, it's, have you eaten? Because people like food, and food is always on their mind. Number 4, and I don't get this anymore, but questions about marriage come up pretty frequently. When are you getting married? And if you are married and don't yet have any children, when are you having children? I feel like women probably get this question more often, and particularly from family, especially extended family, uncles, aunts, cousins, that kind of thing. They always want to know, when are you getting married? Or when are you going to have some kids? That's just like one of those questions about in life. You're supposed to go to school, graduate, go to university, get a job, and then the next step is get married. You have to get married. So when are you getting married is a very common question. I don't think I got that as much as my wife. I feel like my wife got that question more. Maybe that's a little bit more pressure on the women for that one. I certainly got asked about my salary more than I got asked about my marriage or marital status. But yes, when are you getting married? People are usually pretty open and curious to know when that event is going to occur, if at all. Now, the last one comes from a place of care. It only happened during winter months, but people would tell me, you need to wear more clothes. 你要多穿一点，你穿少了. You're not wearing enough. You need to keep warm. You need to keep healthy. Don't catch a cold. Stay nice and warm. Yeah, not just my mother-in-law, but random strangers, taxi drivers, noodle shop owners who I'd never met before would see me, look at the amount of clothes I had on or the thickness of the clothes I had on and just be like, you, sir, need to wear more. You are not wearing enough. Take care of yourself. It's almost like they're looking out for you, even though they don't know you. It's something I wouldn't really hear here in New Zealand. Like in New Zealand, you see random people who will wear like a big thick jacket, but they still have shorts and flip-flops on in the middle of winter. People will not really comment about your attire and tell you to wear more. But as I said, I think it comes from a place of care. People are looking out for each other. Got to stay warm in the winter months. So given that we're heading into winter here in New Zealand as I record this video and my mother-in-law is on the way, that's one I am expecting to hear pretty soon. But you guys let me know what linguistic things you encountered if you were in a foreign country. What did people say that you probably wouldn't say, either for taboo reasons or, as I said, things that maybe just showing a bit of cultural care? But you guys take care. Thank you so much for being here. Talk to you guys again soon. See ya.